This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform that will help you stand out online, but more on them later. I am so tired, I am so exhausted, but I have just bought a new watch, so obviously I had to come on here and talk about it. This is the IWC Aquatimer Automatic 2000 from 2008. I bought this a couple of weeks ago, and it's actually the first IWC I've ever owned. I've been in the middle of a sweet, juicy, delicious love affair with neo-vintage watches. Last year, 2024, I bought the Tag Heuer Formula 1, and now this. The Aquatimer has been taking up a lot of space in my mind for a while now, and I finally bought it. It was irresponsible. I said this year I wasn't going to buy as many watches and I was going to be sensible. But you don't watch this channel to see the purchasing decisions of a sane person.
Are you not entertained?
To me, this is one of the most sincere, built-for-purpose dive watches that money can buy, utility style, understated, purely functional, but still with a bit of personality with the choice of yellow accents. The production period of this model was short, production volumes were low, and I think this is a watch that doesn't get the love it deserves. It's not perfect, I do have some nitpicks, so let's talk about the IWC Aquatimer. Looking at the specifications, this has a titanium case material, 42mm diameter, my calipers measured it as 15.3mm thick, and a lug-to-lug of 49.2mm. On the wrist, this feels very large, larger than the specifications would suggest with the integrated rubber strap. So here it is on my 5.5-inch wrist versus my husband's 7-inch wrist. I think I'm in denial that this is too big for me. There is enough overhang that I shouldn't really wear it, but I'm trying to convince myself it's okay, and I would love it if you lied to me as well in the comment section. As per usual, it looks perfect on my husband's 7-inch wrist. It's just annoying at this point. Every watch that I really like looks better on him, but almost all of the watches I like are designed for men's wrists, so I think this is just something I have to accept going forward. I would emphasize that the integrated rubber strap does flare out, causing this to wear more like a 55mm lug-to-lug, maybe even a 56mm lug-to-lug. There's a style of watch that I really enjoy, and I think this falls into that category, and I call it the obnoxiously big watch. I am thinking AP Royal Oak Offshore kinda large, and this is exactly how this feels for me. But I would argue this is far cooler than an AP Royal Oak Offshore. One of the biggest talking points about this watch, if not the biggest, is the water resistance and functionality. So this is a super compressor style of diver, and it was the first commercially available dive watch capable of withstanding depths of 2,000 meters or 2 kilometers. I mean, the depth capabilities are insane. I don't really need this. I just think it's cool. The example I own is from 2008, which is when IWC used ETA or ETA calibers. Powering this watch is the automatic 30110 movement, which is based on the chronometer grade ETA 2892A2, which is the thinner and finer of the two principal ETA calibers. It has 42 hours of power reserve, keeps great time. I'm super happy with it. Speaking of things I'm super happy with, have I told you guys about today's fabulous video sponsor, Squarespace? Yet another seamless integration, Brittany. How do you do it? But for real, I've been using Squarespace since before they were a channel sponsor because they are the best place to make a website for absolutely anything. They have hundreds of pre-made website templates for your online store, personal blog, podcast, brick and mortar shop, business one-pager. I don't know what you need a website for, but Squarespace will definitely have the right template to fit you. Everything you don't know how to do when it comes to making a website, Squarespace makes it easy. All you have to do is choose a website template, plug in your information, and bam! In under an hour, you could have a website up and ready to go. They have this thing called Design Intelligence, which uses AI technology to create a personalized website tailored to your unique needs. And everything is still fully customizable, so if there's anything you want to tweak or edit to make it perfect, that's still doable, baby. You gotta stop with the finger guns. It's not hitting the way you think it's hitting. Then, when it's time to get paid, Squarespace Payments manages your payments all in one place, and they give your customers so many ways to pay with methods like direct debit, Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay in the US and Canada, and ClearPay in the UK. I said it already, but I started using Squarespace long before they were a channel sponsor. I'll be using them long after. They really are the best and easiest way to make a website for whatever you need a website for. If this sounds like something you need in your life, head to squarespace.com/BritPierce for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Use my link, use my code, and get that website going. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I spend a lot of time talking about design language on this channel because it is one of the biggest factors that draws me to a watch. I would say this is one of the rare occasions when form and function are wedded perfectly together. This is a dive watch that doesn't look or feel like anything else. The closest comparison might be other super compressors, but this is still pretty unmistakable. So there are two crowns that operate very different functions. The 2 o'clock crown operates the hands and the quick set date. One of the great things about ETA movements is hacking seconds for those who like to be quite precise with their times. Now the 4 o'clock crown drives the internalized unidirectional bezel. The bezel only moves when winding it away from you, and it is unidirectional, so if something should go wrong, you can only shorten your dive and not extend it. The colors used are very bold, with bold yellow accents on the internal bezel and on the minute hand, with the yellow parts being your dive instrument. So the yellow seconds hand illuminates the most important information you need to see while diving and brings your eye immediately to the more valuable information. And the dial has a lot of lume, with all the yellow and white elements being fully lumed to meet ISO standards. I am about to say some things, and I don't know if it's offensive to Swiss people, but I am going to do my best to articulate myself well. To me, this watch perfectly encapsulates what makes IWC so special. Almost all of the Swiss watch industry is located in French-Swiss regions, Geneva, Le Loch, or the Jura Mountains and valleys like the Vallée de Joux. But then you have IWC, Schaffhausen, German-Swiss, and they feel very different than the French-Swiss. This watch is utilitarian, tactical, well-constructed, and every detail is executed to a high degree, but it is also a bit goofy and playful with the color choices. This couldn't feel more Swiss-German to me. It wouldn't be a Brit Pierce video if we didn't overthink the strap.
Is this not why you were here?
So I opted for the rubber strap variation, so this is a high-quality, vulcanized rubber strap with a titanium buckle to match the case material. This is a very comfortable rubber, and it shows the level of detail IWC put into the strap. You will see relief channels that meet the skin, which allows your skin to breathe and expand and sweat, all that stuff that skin does. The Aquatimer is also available on bracelet, which is very cool. I just had the delusional idea that if I got the rubber, it would be more likely to fit me. Okay, so I always talk about money and affordability because it is an important and critical part of buying a watch. So I paid £2,500 for this, and the condition was listed as used, very good on Chrono24. I don't think I got the deal of the century, nor do I think it was priced unfair. I think I paid the right price for what I received. Let's now go pure opinion, pure subjective. Here's what I like and don't like about this watch, starting with the good, starting with what I like. 1. I really liked the idea of buying a dive watch from a brand that is so well known for their pilots' watches. To me, IWC is synonymous with aviation and perpetual calendars, but definitely not dive watches. Yet, they have created one of my all-time favorite divers that I dare say is underrated and under-talked about. 2. I aesthetically like all the design choices that were made. I like the internal bezel, it makes the case look clean and functional. I like the bead blast finish of the titanium and how stark and functional the dial looks. 3. I like the idea of the engineering behind the compressor case. I know I will never use this watch to its full intended purpose, but I like the level of engineering that goes into watches like this, and it's just a well-built machine. 4. There's a certain satisfaction in operating an internal bezel. I like an external bezel for clicking, but this is different but equally satisfying in a fidget spinnery way. 5. Every detail of this watch feels well thought through, from the yellow accents that mark the dive instrument functions, to the strap and how breathable it is. I said it earlier in the video, but this is one of those rare times when form and function are perfectly aligned, and it's just so special. 6. I like how truly different this is. It doesn't really look like your standard dive watch with the external bezel, like the Submariner, and beyond having 2 crowns, this really doesn't look like any other compressor-style diver either. It is truly different. The production period of this model was short, production volumes were low. You're not going to see many of these worn by anyone else. The diver you're not going to see at many other desks. And 7, it is just a design of a certain time, and it takes me back to the 2000s. If you regularly watch my channel, you know I have a soft spot for the 90s and 2000s, and this just hits all those nostalgic boxes. I just think it's cool. That's really all it boils down to. The functionality is cool. The era is cool. It's so unique. Okay, so that's what I like. Now on to what I don't like, and the list is short. 1. The size. Obviously, it is too large for me, but I've got it in my delusional brain that maybe one day somehow this could work for me, and I'm gonna keep trying to make it work. Like a bad relationship, and you know you should break up, and you know you don't work, but you're gonna try to make it work. 42 millimeters is pushing the edge of what I can wear in the best of times, but 42 millimeters with an integrated style of bracelet or strap, I am sized out. And I honestly can't think of anything else I dislike about the Aquatimer, and that's probably why I bought it. I like so much. We will give it a bit of time, let it marinate, and see if there's any big things that I dislike about this watch in the future. But anyways, guys, that is my newest watch purchase, and I had to come on here and share it with you. What do you guys think to the IWC Aquatimer? Let me know all your thoughts, opinions, everything in those comments down below. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Legends. And now, other legends, Pope tier patrons, get their names on the screen.